Yo, I'm back. Christopher Nolan is a highly celebrated figure in the filmmaking community. Most of these filmmakers could be split into two groups, the blockbuster filmmaker or the more avant-garde prestigious filmmakers. Both can be good and bad in their own ways, but the thing is that Nolan is the direct middle point between these two groups. He oftentimes integrates exhilarating action sequences with layered and fascinating characters. His films are oftentimes paced in a very unique way that would usually put off average audience members. However, he has a very interesting ability to be entertaining as well. Today I'm going to be talking about his preeminent work in comparison to the rest of his filmography, The Dark Knight. Now let's just move on to the negatives, alright. A main negative that holds this film back is ironically Christopher Nolan's style. He chose to do a superhero trilogy, yet he is not capable of making a necessarily innovative or even well choreographed fight scene. His writing abilities do not match with the setting of a linear superhero film, and his clear disdain towards leaning into the more interesting superhero aspects. Not to put any shame on Heath Ledger in this performance, trust me, I'm going to talk about him in length later. But this film seems so centered on talking about things that don't have to do with Batman. It's a deeply powerful character study about Harvey Dent and the Joker, however that largely overshadows the more interesting conflict going on in Bruce Wayne's mind in light of this compelling crime film going on around him. Another flaw is that Christopher Nolan loves to prioritize plot mechanics above character in a lot of his films. This can be interesting and oftentimes work to Nolan's benefit with deeply conceptual films, but at the same time, this film is overall about the transition between Harvey Dent to Two-Face, and it feels like that arc was very rushed. It felt like he felt an extreme amount of grief, and that persuaded him to follow a darker force greater than himself, but that darker force was not explored enough. First and foremost, it is absolutely impossible to not mention the absolute juggernaut of a performance that the late Heath Ledger brings to this film. Every scene including him infects a layer of brilliance on each of the other actors and actresses. For example, there are certain sequences in this film where Maggie Gyllenhaal is so terrified of Heath Ledger that she turns the fear into an extremely compelling performance. He is simply the center to the subtle genius that lands within this film, and it's a true horror that we lost him. With this and Brokeback Mountain, it was clear that he was said to be an acting powerhouse. With every scene, he bleeds on the screen, and is the main reason that this film is so highly regarded as a classic. It's almost a shame that he's as good as he is, because his presence largely overshadows the other incredible aspects of this film, such as the fact that Aaron Eckhart is also extremely good at portraying this broken man who used to harbor good until he was manipulated by evil. And that is all without mentioning that this film should be a disaster in terms of pacing, however somehow it prevails with each action sequence topping the next. This film is a deeply exciting watch because it always keeps you on your toes wondering what the film will do next, whether it's flipping trucks over or blowing entire warehouses up. This film has an extreme emphasis on style that complements the robust amounts of substance. That substance in question is the themes of good and evil that permeate throughout the whole film, showing how people of extreme good can be so easily manipulated into following a cause of terror. The dialogue in this film is also incredible, with certain scenes being so captivating that it almost deceived me into thinking that the antagonist, who is maniacally insane, was in the right. Overall, this film is really quite integral, considering the current state of affairs the art form of film is in today. It also had a Mandela effect of performers who were extremely influenced by Heath Ledger's performance. I'm feeling a classic out of 10 for this one.